5 o'clock. Let's bring the meeting to order. I'm Stan Helton, Chairman, and we have Commissioner Glenn Patterson and Commissioner Earl Johnson, both at individual remote locations. And we're conducting our teleconference from the E911 Center this afternoon. We have Sherry Walker, County Clerk, Lynn Doss, County Attorney. Patrick Cook is operating our audio equipment, I should say. And we're also going to let Robert Graham add him to make some comments for us here about the coronavirus status in Fannin County. So without any further ado, we need to go to item 1, unfinished business, which is to approve the minutes of the April 28th teleconference board meeting. Commissioners, please let me know when you've read this and when you're ready to move on it.
I've read the minutes and I have no objections.
Okay.
I as well, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Hearing from both of you, I'll make the motion that we approve the minutes from the April 28th teleconference. I'll make the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Patterson. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Public commentary. Ms. Walker, did we have any public comments sent in?
We did not have any submitted today.
Okay. No public commentary. Mr. Graham, before we start on new business, if you would give us an update on the status in Fannin County with the COVID-19.
Certainly. Good afternoon, Commissioners. As of 1 o'clock today, the Department of Public Health is reporting that we have 34 cases that have been identified as positive in Fannin County, and we've had 1 death over the whole term of this pandemic. They are doing testing weekly up here now, 1 day a week from 9 until 11 a.m. Last week they tested 39 people, and from what I understand, they have gotten the results back, and for the majority of it, it was negative. I don't know that there were any positive tests in it last week. They did another test this morning between 9 and 11, and they tested 32 this week. I've been told that right now the state lab is running 4 to 5, possibly 6 days behind on test results. So these probably will not be available till, I'm guessing, the first of the week. They also are running, the Department of Public Health has a test site in Woodstock, one in Gilmer, and one in Whitfield County that runs other days of the week as well. Also, just this week, the Georgia Army National Guard and Augusta University have started doing free testing at Rock Creek Park and Recreation Area in Dawsonville, Georgia, every day from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So that's an additional location where people can get tested for free, as well as the Department of Public Health is free. I don't believe you have to have a reservation for the National Guard sites. However, if you want to go to one of the Department of Public Health sites, they do ask that you call ahead of time and register. The test is free, but you do need to register in advance, and there's an 800 number to call for that. It is, I believe, posted on hopefully it's posted on our county website. If it's not, I'll make sure we get it on there. And also it's on our EMA Facebook page. Several of our businesses, as I'm sure y'all are aware, are starting to reopen to a certain extent. Restaurants, it's just kind of hit or miss whether they're allowing indoor seating. They're allowed to, I think, do up to 50% of their occupancy indoors now. A lot of restaurants are still choosing to do a lot of curbside pickup, and that's a good thing. I believe that's all I've got at this time, unless you have any questions for me.
Commissioner Patterson, any questions for Mr. Graham?
Just a couple. Mr. Graham, are the tests that we're giving now in various areas, are all of them free, or do some of them cost?
If you go to the emergency room or one of the walk-in clinic or any of the physician's offices, they will charge for the test. The North Georgia Health District is free here, both in Blue Ridge and the other 3 locations. You just have to sign up in advance for it. The Georgia Army National Guard location in Dawsonville is also free.
Now, Mr. Graham, they have to have symptoms though first before they're even tested, right?
Not anymore. They just changed that this last week. Anyone can get tested whether they have symptoms or not.
Okay, all right. Also, one last question. The other day I was listening about testing in general on the news. I listened to the Tennessee news stations, and they were saying that Georgia is still behind in testing. Tennessee had a lot more tests. Are we making strides and improvements in that area?
We are. Actually, the Army National Guard reached out to me today to see if there were any local, either private or public groups or organizations such as churches or whatever that would like for them to come up and do a group testing. So I'm going to send out some information on that and post it tomorrow on our Facebook page and see if we get any response from that. We would need to set it up with them to come up, but they are wanting to come out and do more testing. It's just finding locations and people and groups that are willing to be tested.
Well, that's good to know. Maybe somebody that hears this will take you up on it, and we'll find a site to do that. I know, just for statewide, they said Georgia was still a little bit behind other states like Tennessee and some of our neighboring other states as well. So, but that sounds real good. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. That's all I have.
Commissioner Johnson, any questions for Mr. Graham, sir?
No, I just appreciate the additional information, but at this time I have no questions.
Okay. Mr. Graham, we appreciate you updating us with what you have right there. And sounds like in our county, which is my main concern, we do have more options than what we've had. And we'll hopefully see that will continue on. So thank you, Mr. Graham.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, commissioners, we'll move on to new business. And item number 2 is a variance request from Think Big, Live Bigger, LLC. And this is to place a carport 36 feet from the center of High Meadows Drive. And that's out Highway 515 towards Blairsville off of Mitchell Branch Road. Commissioner Patterson, you have any thoughts on this variance request, sir?
No, sir. I've looked at it, and it looks like it would be fine. I have no objections at this time.
Okay. Commissioner Johnson?
I have no issues with the variance.
Okay. I've gone out and looked at it and actually had our land inspector, Mr. Nicholson, go out and look and make sure that things were being followed properly, and there's nothing negative coming back from that, and I have no issues with it as well. So hearing that, I'm going to make the motion that we approve this request for Think Big, Live Bigger to place a carport 36 feet from the center of High Meadows Drive. I'll make the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second? Okay, second from Commissioner Johnson. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Moving on to item 3, we have on the teleconference with us Miss Jan Hackett, the president of our Chamber of Commerce. Miss Hackett, you're with us, I believe.
I am.
All right. We're glad to have you, and I know you've had a very exciting time, the last 7 weeks. And we're anxious to hear any updates that you can give us on the state of tourism in Fannin County. So having said that, I'll turn that over to you, and then we'll hold our questions until you're through and go by commissioners for their input. So take it away, Ms. Jan.
Okay. I am just going to give you a little business update that includes shops, restaurants, and attractions, and then lodging. And so just bear with me and I'll work through it. As far as restaurants go, we have 52 restaurants listed on our website page that we've been keeping up on who's open and who's not. Mm-hmm. And of those 52, only 13 are open for inside dining at this time. And they're following the governor's guidelines. In Blue Ridge, the ones that are open for inside dining are Canterbury, Chester's, Southern Charm, Danielle's only on weekends, Kazuna, Lake Blue Ridge Grill, Mesquite Grill, Toccoa Riverside, and the Blue Coyote. In McKaysville, Copper Hill, Burra Burra, Katz's Deli, well, that's just McKaysville, Burra Burra, Katz's Deli, and Twisted Tomato are. So you're really just kind of looking at, you know, what, 20% or something like that of the restaurants that we have that are actually open. As far as shops go, in Blue Ridge downtown, we think that about 90% of the shops are open at least part of the week, weekends mainly. McKaysville, 50%. I reached out to Cesar Martinez today to ask him if he would ask around and see how things are going in downtown Blue Ridge, and he said that that they have been busy on weekends. It's very slow during the week, and that even as busy as they've been on the weekends, it's not as busy as it was last year at this time. He said that all of his people that he saw when he walked around today were offering hand sanitizer and require social distancing, but there are not enough that require masks. I know they've had problems with customers that have resisted wearing masks. Mercier's is open and they are requiring masks, and they've met with some resistance from customers that just will leave rather than wear a mask. But we have provided 6 masks for each of the members that have asked for them, and then we've actually delivered masks to shops that are open and restaurants that are open in Blue Ridge and McKaysville. The train, Blue Ridge Scenic Railways continues to be closed until June 1st. The trails are closed. The Forest Service did open up Aska Trails and this past weekend, and I haven't heard an update on that lately, so I assume they're still closed. The visitor centers are all 3 closed. We are back working at the office. There's 4 full-time people. Me and Diane and Kim Foster and Jody Mull are all working at the office, but we're closed to the public, and I don't really intend to do anything about opening to the public until Memorial Day at the main center, and probably will keep the other 2 centers closed. They're very small, and there's no way you could distance. Probably won't open them until the train comes back, maybe June 1st, if that's what they want to do. And we also offered Dr. Miller did a webinar for our members, and we've offered it also. We taped it, and it's been available for businesses to listen to, and we've been making sure that the information that we have from CDC and other agencies has been spread out to all of the businesses that are our members. As far as lodging, according to the vacation rental people are definitely coming, and the first weekend probably was busier than the second. The first weekend there seemed to be a whole lot of second home owners coming to open up their cabins and check on them when they felt like they could after the stay-at-home order expired. And they're coming, like 61% of the vacation rentals are supposedly going to be full this next weekend, and they were pretty full last weekend. But they're bringing their supplies, according to the people that I talked to, spending a lot of time in the cabin. Crowds forming in downtown Blue Ridge or other places. They're planning their trips late. It's like people are just deciding to come to the mountains within a week. So that this weekend says 61% are booked. Memorial Day weekend, according to the statistics I get, is 55% booked. But June and July are still looking really low. I sent you guys a chart that I hope you still have that you can kind of look at. This is from a statistic company called AirDNA, and it's based on bookings off of Airbnb and VRBO and HomeAway. As far as the statistics go, May 30th, this weekend after Memorial Day weekend, is 30% booked. June 6th is 27% booked, and July 4th is 24% booked. As far as the hotel motel tax goes, we were down at $60,000 in collections for April. That was based on March business, and that would be 30,000 for the county and 30,000 that the chamber manages to market tourism. We expect to be down as much as $100,000 in May because there were very few bookings in April. That was the month that almost everything was closed, and that would be 50,000 for the chamber and 50,000 for the county. So basically, that looks like $80,000 down for the 2 months that we've been closed at least part of the time. May, though, it will probably be interesting to see how that goes because May is usually one of the slowest months of the year, and April is too, and probably May will look like we've had more business this year because people are not working in their offices and they can come up to get away. So basically, that's my report. It's so far so good. We'll see how it goes. Does anybody have any questions?
Well, I'll turn it to Commissioner Patterson for his questions if he has any. Commissioner Patterson, you have anything for Ms. Hackett?
Jan, I just wanted to thank you for the webinar with Dr. Miller. I listened and it was very good information. I encourage anyone around to take a listen to it because it's got some very good information. We are really blessed to have Dr. Miller on board and appreciate all the work you've done. I know you've been working overtime. And we'll just wait and see how it goes.
And that's
Thank
the
you.
only thing to do. Dr. Miller basically said that it would take a couple of weeks to see that if anything was changed after visitors were allowed to come back into the second homes and vacation rentals. And so it's kind of a wait and see thing. But anyway, thank you. Appreciate everything you guys have done to keep Fannin County safe.
Jen, I have one question. Are most people just restaurants open just for dinner, or are they open for lunch and dinner?
Dinner, and mostly on weekends, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, something like that. And a lot of the shops are only open on weekends, the ones that are open right now. And I don't expect that we're going to have a whole lot more restaurants open up until the governor relaxes some of the restrictions because it's very restrictive, and it would be hard for some of them to be able to do it.
Jan, have you talked to the train? Are they still expected to open in June 1st? I think
they hope to. I myself have wondered the same question, but I talked to her last week, and she said they hope to start on June 1st. So I don't know how they would manage the distancing part of it, but I imagine they would have a plan.
Right. Okay, thank you, Jan.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Commissioner Patterson?
No, sir, I'm finished.
Okay. Commissioner Johnson, anything from you, sir?
I'd just like to say hello to Jan.
Hey, how are you doing, Earl? It's good to talk to you.
At this
I'm okay
point,
with-
I have.
I'm okay with
Are
these
you
meetings.
okay with me not having questions?
As I am okay with these meetings as long as the camera's not turned on.
No, at this point, I don't have any questions. It's just odd times for everyone in Fannin County, and hopefully here in the next upcoming weeks we can be able to see how opening back up goes. I think it's going to be a waiting game for all of us.
Time will tell. That's all we got to do is just wait and see. But I think that people really want to do the right thing, and the people that are coming here, they don't want to get sick either, so they're distancing too. So I don't think that we've had any big parties or any big things going on in any of the restaurants here. So hopefully people will do the right thing. I wish more people would wear masks, but that's the way it goes.
Jen, you have a website that has a tremendous amount of information on there. Just wondering if you could go over the website, just repeat that for folks that are listening slowly.
Oh,
But
okay.
it is a great tool, and the information on there you have, I was looking today, you have information about available personal protective equipment that some of the businesses in the county have, and I thought that was great. So if you don't mind, just to tell us what the website is so people can check that out.
We have used the website the whole time to keep updated who's open, who's closed, who's offering carry out food, and those kind of things. We just updated it this last week, and I put kind of a warning on it for people who are thinking about visiting here that things are not normal. And it did include a lot of information about things they needed to do, like bring their own food and supplies if possible, and just expect that there would be a lot of things that are closed. The website, Jody Mull does a great job keeping up the page that's on the site that has who's open and who's closed and other things. And so if you open up the homepage of the website, and the website is www.blueridgemountains.com, there'll be a link on the front page of the site that leads you to the page where we have most of the information that they need. We've also done the same thing on our Facebook page, because a lot of people go there when they're thinking about coming here, and kind of done we'd like welcome back, but be aware that things aren't normal here, and please be courteous when you come. So far so good.
Well,
If
Jen,
you have any more information, the site's a good place to look.
I don't have any further questions for you, Jan. Just a comment on you and your staff, how hard you guys have worked, and this has been a very stressful time for you here. And
Amen.
just want to commend what your folks have done, and keep things with what you have available to work with, and try to keep those fires at least warm for people, so that as things open up, we have something for folks to come to. Now, I had some information on building permits, which is not really your thing, but I'm sure you're interested in this as well. New building permits in Fannin County in January, we had 26. In February, 18. In March, 30. And in April, 19. And my understanding in April is it's fairly consistent with what we've had. So we've not seen the drop off, and I hope we don't see it in new building permits in the county. So that's one part of the economy that seems to be going fairly well at this point. So
I did ask the real estate, some people in the real estate community how they were doing too. We called a lot of businesses over the last couple of weeks just to see how everybody is doing, and to see if they've received any federal assistance and things like that, so that we can try to help. And the people that I've talked to in the real estate industry seem to think that things were going well. So that's good news too.
yes, it is. And Jan, thank you again for your time.
Okay, thank y'all.
You bet. Thank you. We'll move on to item 4, and this is an item about the ACCG insurance programs compensation fund. And this is some good news. We annually receive a check back from the ACCG for a safety discount. We just notified that the self-insured workers' compensation fund, that we are getting a check in the amount of $32,958 for our share of a cash return for qualifying members. So this is something new, and it's extra from what we had received in the past, an additional compensation check, and we will put that into the general fund and make good use for it. But this was a good welcome surprise, and glad that we have that. I wish I could hold the check up for people to see, but we can't do that under this venue. Item number 5, Fannin County Development Authority. We have a board reappointment that was sent to us, a request from the executive director, Ms. Gribble. And the request is to Mr. Jim McKnight, who's currently on the board, to be reappointed for a 3-year term. Mr. McKnight has served us very faithfully on that board. Any questions, comments from you, Commissioner Patterson?
No, sir. I have no objection to that.
Okay. Commissioner Johnson?
I think Mr. McKnight's a valuable asset to that board, and I have no objections.
Okay, agreed. I'll make the motion that we reappoint Mr. Jim McKnight for a 3-year term for the Fannin County Development Authority. I'll make the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Patterson. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous, and we certainly appreciate Mr. McKnight willing to serve. Item number 6 is the work detail agreement between Fannin County and the Georgia Department of Corrections. And just to reiterate for some folks that may not be aware of this, we had the opportunity to sign a contract with the Department of Corrections, and specifically the Caldwell Detention Center, to provide us with detail of detention workers to work for the county on our roads primarily. And the detail would be a minimum of 6 up to a maximum of 10. And in the last year, they've been very helpful, very effective on trash pickup and helping with trimming and weeding areas around the county roadways, particularly guardrails. We've had some places where there have been some blockages of culverts, and these guys have been very, very effective of that. The only downside right now is due to the COVID concerns and restrictions by the state, they've not been able to work for us since early. Actually, it goes back to March, I believe. They have not been able to work. We don't pay them if they're not working. And I've talked with the director at the center this past week, and they indicated that there's not a definite time. Could be as soon as June, could be August or September before we get these folks back. But this has been a great thing for us. The one negative thing that I do have to bring up about this, our current contract that's expiring, is that we pay for one detention officer who supervises and oversees the work that's being done. And the payment that we have essentially pays for that employee. Last year, it was $39,000. Well, the contract for this year, the sum is a big increase from $39,000 to $49,000. That's about a 25% increase. And in talking with the corrections department in Atlanta, that I had a conversation there last week, and they stated very simply this increase is due for the fact that they've not changed that detail rate in several years, and that they needed to do that to keep up with the correctional officers' base salary that they have now. So, Commissioner Patterson, you have any thoughts or questions on this item, sir, before we decide to vote?
Well, it's kind of a hard time to get that increase during the pandemic. Looks like it'd be in better circumstances, but I do understand what you're saying about it. It's been a while since they've had an increase, and they do a wonderful job. They really do. I just, like I say, would hate to have the increase at this time when everybody's kind of hurting. But if that's what it takes, I think they would be worth that. When would that increase start, Mr. Hilton?
It would start with the new contract that will go into effect. I believe, I have to look at this date on there, Commissioner. I believe it is Well, I guess it's when we sign it and they sign it, which should be probably about July 1st, I believe, Commissioner.
But they wouldn't get paid unless they started, unless they worked, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
No,
That's all I have.
yeah, the contract runs from July 1st of this year through the end of June next year. Commissioner Johnson, you have some thoughts, sir?
Yeah, it's kind of a steep increase. I mean, that's a very big increase. Maybe I think they should have, if we would have done that, it should have been in an incremental deal rather than $10,000 increase a year.
Right.
I just $10,000 increase over a year for the service. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it was a very good deal for the amount of workers we get, but when you start talking about $50,000 a year, it becomes a lot less attractive to me. So,
Well, we're not being singled out. I've talked to other counties, and this is going up across the state, and it's not being well received, of course, by the other commissioners. But I did some numbers on this, Commissioner Johnson, and we have in the past year we have a minimum of 6 guys on a crew up to a maximum of 10, and most typically it'd be closer to 8. But I did some numbers. Of course, it's a 10-hour day, 4-day a week service. And if you take 6, the minimum, and you calculate the man hours during a year and divide that by an hourly rate, it comes down to $2.50 an hour is what we're paying for that. So that's a pretty good rate, even even at that. So 20, I guess. If you back that out, we were probably paying a little over $2 an hour. And then with a 25% increase, that bumped it from about $2 an hour to $2.50 an hour increase, if you work it down to that level. And even with that, I know it's distasteful at this time particularly for an increase, but I still personally feel like it's well worth it with what we get out of it. But I'll leave that back. Any further questions or thoughts you might have on that, sir?
I mean, no, not really. I mean, I think it's just getting too steep, in my opinion. I mean, we're getting close. When we get to 50, that gets to a point where, I mean, I don't know what all services they're providing right now, but you might look into maybe searching for someone to contract services out and have a specialized help rather than supervised help, and having them provide them with all their equipment and van and everything else, because that cost is not all the cost we incur in a year. We still have to provide them with the equipment and transportation and everything. So I myself I'm not interested in the increase.
Okay. All right. Any further thoughts from you, Commissioner Patterson, before I ask for a vote?
No, I certainly understand what Commissioner Johnson is saying, but until we, make arrangements and look into further contracting that out and prices and things like that, I'd like to have them back, and not, the money is steep, exactly, but I think if it's going up everywhere else, I just feel like it probably would be a good investment at this time until we found something that would be able to replace what they do.
Okay. All right.
And without a doubt, Mr. Chairman, what you said, I mean, the hourly rate is, I mean, it's a great rate, but, a lot of times that rate is cheap, but you're not getting the best labor either. So, well, that's where I'm coming from. It is a cheap rate. That's not without a doubt, but it's just, you're not getting any type of specialized labor. I honestly just think if everyone would balk on them on a $10,000 increase in 1 year, they'd probably meet halfway. But that's the reason, and solely the reason why I'm not in favor of it.
I got you.
I can't raise my rates by that much a year and still expect to be able to provide a service. So,
Right. Okay.
that's all I have to say.
Commissioner,
Yes, Commissioner Patterson. What?
is this rate coming from Blairsville? Where are we? Who's increasing this?
Who's increasing it? The Georgia Department.
Yeah, is it the state or is it
The Georgia Department. Yes, or the state.
okay? So it's across the board. In
Yes.
the state. Okay,
Yeah.
I got it.
The superintendent at Caldwell Detention was actually, we're the ones that told them how much this was going up, because we had the letter and they really did not have that communication. Well, I spent the first 3 years trying to get a crew available to us, and watching how they work out with and they work, of course, in conjunction with the Public Works Department. And in the past, we've had some part-time workers out there, particularly in the summertime, that we hired to do some of the trash pickup and particularly weeding around the guardrails. And I have to say that I've been pleased with what we've gotten from this investment with them. So what I'm going to do is I'd like to make a motion that we approve this contract for 1 more year. So I'll make that motion, and I will ask for a second.
Second.
Okay, second from Commissioner Patterson. Any further discussion before I ask for a vote? Okay. Hearing none, if you're in favor, vote yay. If not, nay. I'll ask for a vote. All in favor, yay? Yay?
Yay.
Okay.
Nay.
Okay. That's 2 yays. Chairman, yay. Commissioner Patterson, yay. And Commissioner Johnson, nay or no. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay. Item number 7 is quotes bids for repair of the Mineral Bluff Fire Station. Back in early April, we had wind damage, storm damage out there, and it tore a good part of the roof off and exposed our equipment that's garaged there to the elements. And certainly something in addition to that, that is a voting precinct for Mineral Bluff. So there's urgency in trying to get this repaired. And we had 2 quotes, 2 bids from 2 different companies. Commissioners, do you have these quotes in your hand?
I do not.
Okay, you did not get this, Commissioner Patterson?
I don't think so.
Okay, I believe Ms. Walker emailed that to you.
Okay. You gonna go over them?
Yes, Commissioner Johnson, did you get these, sir?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, the two quotes to repair the roof and the work, I confirmed with our maintenance director, Mr. Hawkins, that the scope of the work is the same for both. The first quote was from Pittman Builders LLC, and the cost to do this was $7,930 plus $260 for disposal. So that would be $8,290 total for Pittman Builders. And then we have a quote from J&D Construction, and we've had experience with them. They did the re-roofing on the old fire station downtown, and the total bid for them total is $6,500. So we're looking at two different quotes, one for J&D Construction, $6,500, and the other one, if I'm doing the math correctly in my head, $8,290 from Pittman Builders. And a good part of this is we've had insurance adjusters already up here, and they have given us an insurance adjustment that would cover this cost of repairs. So, Commissioner Patterson, any questions from you on this, sir?
Now, the J&D, the 6,500, that's with disposal as well,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. No, I have no questions.
Okay. Commissioner Johnson, any questions, sir?
No, I have none.
Okay. All right. Well, it would be great for us to move ahead with this one and get this done hopefully before the election day. So I'll make a motion that we approve the re-roofing of the Mineral Bluff Fire Station with J&D Construction for the total amount of $6,500. I'll make the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Johnson. All in favor with a yay? Yay?
Yay.
Yay.
Unanimous. Okay. Well, as far as our business that we have on the agenda, gentlemen, that concludes it. I'll ask if you have any closing comments or thoughts. We've been through an interesting time these last 7 weeks, not just Fannin County, the state, and the whole nation. Commissioner Patterson, you have any closing thoughts, sir, before I ask for adjournment?
I just wanted to say that, in being out for this and that, I am encouraged seeing the personal responsibility displayed around town. I think, we don't want anybody positive as far as the COVID-19, but 34, we've been at that spot for quite some time, and knock on wood, and I think people are really trying to show their personal responsibility, and I sure do appreciate that, and we just need to just keep it up.
Okay. Commissioner Johnson, any comments from you, sir?
No, I have none this afternoon.
Okay. All right. Well, Commissioners, it's been 7 weeks since we declared a health emergency in Fannin County, and our courthouse continues to serve the public. It may require a little individual patience to go through and conduct business, but I'm very pleased and have discussed with the guards there that folks have just been absolutely tremendous in understanding and working with us. We've had, of course, a limited and a measured reopening of the recreation center. There have been no problems, and the citizens there have been very cooperative and understand that we're doing these things to protect themselves and our employees, and that seems to be working very well. During the time, our emergency services and fire departments and law enforcement have all continued to handle calls without interruption. And we've had a number of storms and weather problems the last 7 weeks, but Public Works has been keeping our roads and right-of-ways open and safe and doing their job. And I think we have to take our hats off to the citizens of the county, as you alluded to, Commissioner Patterson. They've made a big difference by using common sense and basically policing themselves and taking this serious. So any success, and that's a kind of a scary word to use, but anything that's happened here in the county that has been effective has come from the individual citizens themselves taking this serious and being very careful. And thank the good Lord at this point, we've had 34 cases. That's 34 too many. We've had one person that's passed away, and that's one too many. And we all feel that. But I feel at this point we're not out of the woods yet, but the pathway ahead looks brighter for us. So we'll just keep on, and with the help of the good Lord and the common sense of the Fannin citizens, I think that we have some better days ahead, and I'm certainly looking forward to that. Commissioners, I have nothing else to say. I will make a motion for adjournment. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor? Yay? Yay?
Yay.
Okay. Thank you, commissioners, and thank you folks for calling in and listening to us. And we appreciate you very much. And I'm certainly looking forward to having our open meetings again in normal circumstances very soon. Thank you very much, and good evening.